I'm your host, Noah Love, and today we have a whole lot of football to discuss. It's all football. I'm just going to get straight into it. We're going to talk about Georgia dominant. We're going to talk about Penn State being so impressive. We're going to talk about is he you and Cam Ward. We're going to talk about Brian Kelly and how his team is always underprepared going into week one. We're gonna talk about um, USC and that improved defense. We're gonna talk about Ohio State too. We're gonna get into all of it. But first, I just have to get to this. Florida State. Florida State is now 0-2. They're out of the top 25. Florida State, it's over. You're done. You just listen. This is the first year for Brian Kelly, Jesus, Bill O'Brien at Boston College. Boston College, I think Georgia Tech's on the up and up, but Boston College, I don't know. Florida State, your season's over. You could not run the ball. You could not run the ball. These stats are actually atrocious. And I watched this game. They were 16 for 21 in terms of running the ball, 1.3 yards on average. DJU, the throws he was missing last night, I don't know. But DJU, you can't excuse him, but it's not all his fault. They got whipped up front. Both sides. When a team rushes for Boston College say, you know what, we're going to come up front and we're going to dominate you. Our D-line's going to get pressure and our O-line is going to be able to run the football. Guess what, folks? They ran the football for 263. They controlled the time of possession. They did anything they wanted against Florida State. They went to Tallahassee and dominated. That's what happened. Boston College, listen, new coach in terms, I understand new coach, but coming out at half, okay, it's 14-6. Mike Norvell goes for it. And they don't get it. And not only that, they throw a pick. Florida State, look, you're done. You're 0-2. You're done. Virginia Tech lost to Vandy this weekend. That was a good win for Vandy. Teams won. By the way, the best team in the ACC is looking like Miami. I'm just telling you. But we'll get into that later. Look. I'm just looking at, and people are like, the box score doesn't tell everything. Well, you're looking at the box score. DJU was awful. Well, he threw for 270. Threw the ball 42 times, 27.4 QBR. He missed so many throws in that game. And then when you're looking at Boston College, they weren't great passing the ball, right? But they took their time on their drives and they were efficient. Boston College isn't going to run the ball like this every game. I don't care what you say. It just isn't going to happen. And then you get the personal foul late. They punt. Look, I mean, this season, it's over. It is over. And that's crazy to say in the 12-team playoff, but it's over. Because unless you flip the script and win 10 straight, I don't know how you get in.
To customize and save hundreds on car insurance.
If I'm being
Liberty Mutual. Let's fly.
Sean Ward was incredible.
Chief, Doug.
And what a massive win for Brock. Yeah, and it's the new era for Bill O'Brien. I mean, he was there
I thought you were right behind me.
February.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
It's the first game.
It's a get-right game. They're about 17-point favorites. Here's Bill O'Brien. He's coached at every level, and his guys in a scoreless game, not scoreless for long. Thomas Castellanos, this is a dazzling quarterback that can do a lot there. He takes it up the middle on a 3rd and 2, and it's 7-0. Wheel round.
Throw, touchdown.
Touchdown, Treshaun
Yeah.
Ward. It's 14-0. Damian Woody's going crazy. Florida State
This is the fourth,
within 8.
This is the 4th down play I alluded to. It's 4th and 5. Punt the ball. Your defense had actually gotten, I think before half, they had gotten like 2 or 3 consecutive stops. So you punt the ball and you trust your defense, but no, they're going to go for it. And what does DJU do? Now, granted, the guy gets beat on a swim move here, and just their whole O-line, except for the center, is getting beat.
Then 8.
And then he throws his sidearm, and who was he throwing to? I don't know.
In the 3rd, they go for it on 4th and 5. And DJ Uiagalelei is picked. Max Tucker, Stanford Steve was calling for it to house it. He had blockers, and they get down inside the 10-yard line, 2nd and goal. So many options here. Castellanos
Great ball.
rolls and connects. Kyle Robichaux takes it into the end zone. BC's up 21-6. You kept thinking, can Florida State get off the deck? The answer is no, because BC was landing body blows. They ran it for 270 until they took knees at the end of the game as Bill O'Brien's guys go into dope.
Up front.
And there goes Robichaux again.
Look,
a big
we
run.
boarded the Red Sea.
And there goes Robichaux again. Brian's guys go in.
So you're going to get a pool. You're going to get guys blocking to the left. You're going to get a pool. You're going to have guys coming across the formation.
2.
And it's just great blocks by Boston College.
Dope.
Kicking their guys out. And there's a big hole in A gap.
And there goes Robichaux again. A big run. They could have tried to tack on more had they chosen to. Instead, they are content to take knees, take the dub, and head.
And Bill O'Brien said he's proud of his team, as he should be. They went out there and they straight up dominated Florida State. Now, Florida State, coming from Florida State's perspective, I know what Mike Norvell said in the post-game presser. He apologized. This is a type of game type of game that could cost you your job. I'm not saying he's going to get fired now, but if this season goes off the rails, he's a hell of a football coach, but he may be gone. They fell for the DJU hype. That's what happened. DJU. This is his 4th. No, he's not his 4th. This is his 5th year in his 3rd program. He's played at Clemson. They thought he was the answer at Clemson. He wasn't. They thought he wasn't. Kay Klubnik came in and played well with the talent that they had. I'll get to that Clemson because, boy, did they get their asses kicked. Or their butts kicked. But you look at that. You look at that. You just look at him at Oregon State. He was okay. He was good. He was decent, you know. And then he comes to Florida State. And these first 2 games, he's just not been good at all. They can't make any big plays down the field. They're not explosive. They're struggling up front to even protect for him. You have some decent playmakers out there, but in terms of Benson and Jalen Lucas, and you have Roydell Williams, they like the team, like it's not like their playmakers aren't bad, but they're not able to get them the ball. They play Memphis, I think, in week 3, or do they get by? I didn't even check. But yeah, Florida State is in a world of trouble. People need to forget about CFP for now. Maybe if they win enough games, they can get back into this conversation. But right now, they need to figure out how to just get this season back on track, on the rails, whatever you want to call it. That's what their focus needs to be on. All right. Let's go to we're going to go different route. Georgia. Yes, we're going to go to Georgia now. Georgia dominates. Georgia just dominated Clemson. It wasn't even close. I mean, the only reason it was close in the first half was because Georgia's offense rusty. But in that second half, they just straight up murdered Clemson. It was 28-3 in the second half. I mean, Cade Klubnik, boy, Cade Klubnik struggling. I think he has the ability to be a very good player, but struggling. That defense, though, I give them a lot of credit. That defense, they held on for as long as they could until they finally had to let go. They just had to let go of the rope. Obviously, I mean, in terms of running wise, Georgia, they ran for 169. They had to do it in various ways. I mean, in terms of just giving it to the back and running it, if your name's not Nate Frazier, you didn't have. I mean, he's their third string back. I mean, because Etienne got suspended, and I think Roderick Robinson is injured. So, yeah, and then you obviously have Rara Thomas in terms of the receivers. He was out, or he was dismissed. They still have Dylan Bell and Dominique Lovett. They still have some good receivers. Defensively, they picked up where they left off. This guy, Michael Williams, is going to be a star this year, and he's going to be probably a top 10 pick in the NFL draft this upcoming spring. Up front, Georgia did what they do. Georgia is saying, okay, now we run college football. Saban, you're gone. We run this now. That's the statement they were trying to throw out there, and I think them having something to prove in terms of, oh, we lost one game by 3 and we're not in the playoff to a team that you put in. Bama might have beat us, but we're better than these other teams. Okay, so this year we gonna show y'all. Georgia, and they've showed them because Georgia, to Carson Beck was great in the game.
Idea, just 6-0. Dogs, Carson.
It wasn't anything. You see how they skipped right to the third because in the first half it wasn't really
Carson Beck.
great, but
Colby Young transfer from Miami with a touchdown, 13-0.
Great field by Carson Beck, knowing that the defender's on top of the receiver, back shouldering him so he could make a play, and a good catch by Young.
Nice
Little crossing route here by the Vanderbilt transfer, London Humphreys, who turns on a jet.
Shallow crosses are sometimes hard to defend for defenses. The wide receiver gets the ball with a lot of running room. Speed to burn with London Humphreys.
You can use an official as a
he's trying
block.
to
Malachi Starks.
Very reminiscent of the interception he had as a freshman in that same building against Oregon. Who says if you can't catch, you play defense, right, Doug?
Right. I asked him that.
If you can catch and you play defense, you will make a lot of money.
And how about if you can stiff arm a dude to the ground and tight rock the sideline with a cool mustache?
Cash the stash, right?
No doubt. Look at that stash.
Up front, Georgia. dominant, dominant, dominant. But I want to kind of talk about Clemson here. I'm not Georgia. We know what they are. We know what they're going to be. I think we pretty much know how good they are. Let's talk about Clemson here. Clemson, Dabo, Sweeney. Oh boy, we watched the we watched the Dabo dynasty, or that he used to have. Up front, they were great. They had the quarterback. People were comparing it. Is it Dabo's time? Is it Saban's time? Whose time is it? So they have fallen off. Now people can say NIL transfer portal. I think all of that is true, but I also think the number one thing is they haven't had a great quarterback. If you look at it, they've went from think about it. They went from Deshaun Watson to Trevor Lawrence in terms of great quarterbacks. And now they've gone from Trevor Lawrence. They haven't had a great one since Trevor Lawrence. It's gone to DJU, who we don't even need to get into, and it's gone to Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik, I think, has the ability to be a really good player. I don't think he's going to be special, just like I don't think DJU's going to be special. So I think those guys need really, really talented teams to make them look great. Not look good, but look great. So I think missing on the quarterback, that's going to set you back. And then not going in the NIL to get some players and transfer portal. Now, that defense played their butts off. That defense is good. That's a really good defense. Even though they just have to kind of, when your offense isn't doing nothing, you just kind of have to, it's Georgia. They're going to score some points. They just have to kind of let go of the rope at the end there. But Clemson defense is really good. Really, really good. But Clemson, their offense, look, the best team in the ACC as of this moment. I mean, I know it's up for grabs, but I think it's Miami. I think if you gave me rankings, I think I go Miami 1, 2. I probably go Georgia Tech, and then 3. I mean, I'd probably still say Clemson because I don't think Clemson is like that. Like, I just don't think they're up at Georgia's level, which is, again, one of the highest levels in college football. That's all it is. I don't think Clemson is trash. I think Clemson's really good. I think Clemson still has a chance to compete for the ACC. But that game, national TV, against the number 1 team in the nation, 34-3, you can't. Yeah, that no matter how you want to slice it, that's not good. But Clemson dominates. And let me just kind of, since we're on the topic of the ACC, let me just switch gears here to Miami. The U went to the Swamp and put a beat down on the Gators. It wasn't any of this. Right now in the state of Florida, it's not this. It's not this. It's this. Miami beats down Florida 41-17. I'm going to get into Florida later this week because Billy Napier, he gotta go. We know this. Dan Mullen, they fired Dan Mullen for this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm thinking they already need to make a move from Graham Mertz. There's a reason Graham Mertz didn't work out at Wisconsin. But this guy Cam Ward is special. This guy Cam Ward could be in the Heisman conversation this year if he continues to play the way he did. Cam Ward was on. I mean, the plays he made, he didn't necessarily run with his legs, but the way he was he ran with his legs some, but the way he was able to get out of situations was his legs. And I mean, he had really that one big run. But I mean, and this is, people didn't watch Washington State, obviously, in the Pac-12 because they play so late. But so now this was a lot of people's first introduction to Cam Ward, and boy, what an introduction. Mario Cristobal, we know how he built Oregon up. But now Florida might be terrible, so I don't know. Is the U back? I don't know, but they were the most impressive team. Here's some highlights. The most impressive team outside of, obviously, Georgia and Penn State, who I will get into next.
Yes, Jonathan in my ear says a team that did not hit the over.
This game did go over, though.
Okay.
Florida, Tim Tebow was freaking out there. It's the Battle of Florida and Miami, and there were Miami fans in the stands. Miami's like, nah, not today.
Javon Curse out there. That was about it. The highlight of the whole day for the Gators.
Yeah. What kind of ridiculous condition, by the way, still, Javon Curse?
He doesn't understand that the chomp is right over left, not left over right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How does he not know that?
That is right.
Mm-hmm. All right.
This is basically all Florida has.
Cam Ward to Cam McCormick touchdown, but we won't glaze over Montrell Johnson going 71 yards for the Gators.
You know why that occurred?
Well,
the safety came up and did not set the edge. So even Florida's biggest highlight came off of a Miami mistake. They did nothing today to create their own success.
You were not big on the Wazoo transfer Cam Ward to
No,
Miami.
stop saying that. I said I don't think he's going to come in, play in a new offense with new receivers in the swamp and play well. And I was wrong.
Xavier Restrepo is a heck of a receiver.
Cam
He did. Remember he did it to Texas A&M? Was that last year, 2 years ago? The dude can play.
Easy.
Dude can't. Oh, Restrepo?
Restrepo?
Yeah, dude can play. Jacoby George from Ward here.
Got out of it. Throw
back
back of the end zone.
Back of the end zone. 38-10 Miami.
11 in there.
Cam Ward, though, in his Canes debut, 385 yards passing, 3 touchdowns.
And look.
38-10, and then this was not what you want here. Graham Mertz throws a pick, but more importantly, frankly, at this point in the game, got hit by 2 hurricanes. Easily could have been a roughing the passer call. He took a shot to the face.
Almost.
Word is he will be in concussion or is in concussion protocol. This was not a good day for Florida by any stretch of the imagination.
You know what the problem still continues to be? They cannot protect Graham Mertz. Offensive line stinks. Defensive line stinks. It's the same story that we've seen the last couple of years.
Other than that.
How was the show, Mrs. Lincoln?
Yeah. 41-17. This was
529 yards of total offense. I mean, they were disciplined. They up front, we know how Mario Cristobal can recruit in terms of O-linemen. They just went up there to Florida and said, no, this is our state. We'll show Florida State later in the year when they come to us, but we're coming to you, and we coming on to your house. We're going to take off our shoes. We're going to put them up on your table, and now what? And Florida didn't respond. They whooped them up and down, up and down, up and down. Cam Ward, the swagger that you saw the Miami play with today. Saturday, you saw the swagger and this. That's what Miami is all about. Dominate, play with swagger. That's what made them good in the 80s. That's what made them good in the late 90s or the early 2000s. So Miami, Cam Ward was the most impressive player. Cam Ward will be in that Heisman conversation. He will. The way he played now Will he play like that again this year? Potentially. We'll have to see. But I love what I saw. I love how dominant they were. Florida, I will get into you later this week because I just got to still get the thoughts in there, because after that, the residue of that beat down is going to be there for a minute. Billy Napier, yeah, your time might be up, but Miami was impressive. Now, let's get to Penn State and West Virginia. Penn State, new offensive coordinator. Everybody wanted to know how they look. Impressive. A lot of people were picking West Virginia. I wasn't a guy that picked West Virginia. And it wasn't that I didn't buy it. I think West Virginia is going to be good, but Penn State, it's a game that they usually handle their business in. And I just think they taught new offensive coordinator. They talked about this recruiting class. Look, they did have a couple of miscues early with the centers and and stuff, but overall, Penn State dominated. Nick Singleton had a 40-yard run. They're just the explosiveness of the plays. Last year, they had 8 plays for the whole year of 40-plus yards. In this game, they had 4. Drew Aller looked incredible. 11-17, 216, 3 touchdowns. Now, West Virginia was in. They didn't run it well. They tried to run it and run it well. Pass it, but that Penn State defense is just good. Harrison Wallace is going to be their number 1 guy this year. You on the receiver, you didn't know who would be your number 1, who would step up. It's going to be him. He was putting in that work against West Virginia. If that Penn State offense can continue and be explosive, they can compete with anybody in the country just based on how good their defense is. What I saw is creativity. I saw a lot of seam throws. I saw a lot of misdirection. That's what Penn State was missing. They were missing the creativity that the old offensive coordinator didn't have. Now you bring in Tom Allen, who got fired as a head coach at Indiana. He comes back to be the DC. That the defense didn't miss a beat. Abdul Carter, Tony Rojas, the Key Wheatley thing, Kevin Winston, all of them. They were great. Up front, they were great. Penn State took 34-12. I mean, West Virginia. Now, West Virginia, I still think will be a Big 12 contender. I just think Penn State, they come out of something to prove. They did it. By the way, Lightning delayed this game for a good minute. But Penn State still say, you know what, West Virginia, we're only up 26 now. You're going to catch that work. Like, this is what I'm talking about, seam throws. Right down the middle for the play. Explosive play. And again, you're going to get Tayton Allen underneath. He's going to make somebody miss and get into the shot. Wasn't really creativity, but they have 2 great guys. Really. 1-on-1 before the half. They took a shot before the half, and it ended up working out. And then they take another shot to get to the end zone. The aggressiveness. Look at that. That shoulder throw. I mean, my goodness. Penn State was dominant. I was really impressed with what I saw because it wasn't one of those Penn State performances where you're like, well, I mean, they didn't have that many explosive plays, but they just beat the team because they were more talented. No, they beat who I think will be a very good West Virginia team. They beat them, and they beat them in a different way. They beat them being explosive on offense, and then up front, there was there was really nothing they could do. All right, let's talk about the concerns. Oregon did not look impressive. They only beat Idaho by 10. Dylan Gabriel threw for over 380, but up front, that worried me in terms of the fact that they didn't dominate. That worries me. There's a new college football top 25 out today. You're gonna get my initial reaction to it because I have not seen it. I'm sure it's so we're not looking at the coaches. We're looking at we're going by the media. So Georgia and Ohio State stay there. Texas moved up by 1. Bama moved up 1. Notre Dame moved up 2 spots. Ole Miss State, 76-0 versus Furman. That's really not impressive. Oregon dropped 4 slots. I'm telling you, they just didn't look impressive. Penn State staying at 8. Okay. Missouri went up to 9. Michigan, they struggled. Michigan beat Fresno 30-10 in Fresno. They were predicted to, I think, to finish top 3 in the conference. So Fresno's not like a slouch, but people are like, well, this is the reigning defending national champions, and I understand that, but it's not the same team. It's a different team. It's a this team is going to be developing veteran players for the future. Now, I was shocked that Davis Warren started over Alex Orji because I feel like Alex Orji I thought he would have been the more dynamic, better choice. But when you look at the throwing portion, I guess Sharon Moore. Alex Orji in the one throw he missed. I'm like, that's why he's not starting. He missed some throws. They didn't run the ball great. Donovan Edwards only had 27 yards. Khalil Moon's 92 yards. Now they ran it for 148, which okay. Defense, that's going to be a really good defense. We know that. Offensively, they're going to have to figure it out because Texas is coming into the big house. I'm tired. The big house this week. So that's going to be an interesting game. But if Davis Warren can give you something consistently,
play out
some highlights. Davis Warren, man, he can be consistent in terms of throwing the football. Like 16-10 with 5:49 left in the fourth quarter. That's not
action. Warren over the middle. It's Loveland in stride. Loveland stays up. Touchdown, Michigan.
But we kind of knew like this year, okay, Michigan's gonna be a run-heavy team this year, and they're gonna play great defense. They're gonna run the ball about 40 times. They're gonna come back. They're gonna play great defense. They're gonna get their quarterback in manageable situations. Their quarterback isn't gonna have to do a lot or more than they ask him to.
Loveland stays up. Touchdown, Michigan.
Michigan is
His all-world receiving capabilities. Up, touchdown.
Michigan to me is less concerning than Oregon because we kind of knew what Michigan was going to be coming into the year with this deal. I mean, now a lot of people's picking them to win the Big Ten. I mean, you have national title hopes, you have college football playoff hopes, but you just don't know. It's Oregon. Oh my gosh, people are picking you to win the national title. The Big Ten. You're one of the top 4 teams in the country, and you haven't played a game, and you go out there and play like that. Dylan Gabriel with 41 for 49 for 385. He didn't play bad by any means. But I just wasn't impressed. Not impressive. Up front, that worries me.
Throw, and Colson Loveland is too big and too powerful for R.J. Regan, the nickelback, and Michigan in the end zone for a security touchdown.
Yeah, and then Will Johnson had the pick 6 to seal that. But good win for Michigan. Good, decent one for Oregon. You gotta be better. But yeah, we'll see what Michigan does against Texas this week, and then we'll see. It's like college. Gee, I mean, people are just over here screaming like, I don't know, man. But anyways, let's get to Notre Dame. Notre Dame, who moved up into the top 5. You see the rest of the top 25. Let me pull it back up here. The rest of the top 25. This is where it lies, but I want to talk about number 5, Notre Dame. Notre Dame went in and got a heck of a win at Texas A&M. Texas A&M, you lost. Duke's new coach. Your defense was fantastic for most of the game. Offensively, you couldn't find it. I think you'll be fine. You'll be competitive this year, but in terms of CFP, I don't think you're going there. But Notre Dame wasn't impressive offensively. They weren't impressive, but they did just enough to get the job done. Wiley Leonard played well. It was a real hard-nosed fight, not like a street fight, but just a hard-nosed, gritty fight that they were able to pull out, that they were able to get the win. Texas A&M did not throw well. Notre Dame, secondary and defense, they were great. Notre Dame now, if you look at their schedule, there's no way they don't go to the playoff unless they just completely choke. There's no way they don't go because their hardest game is probably at the end of the year against USC. I mean, they could walk in being undefeated to that game. That's not crazy. I mean, I know they play Georgia Tech in Atlanta, right? They have a Louisville on Peacock. Okay. Florida's at home. The amount of road games they only have to go on the road now 2 more times this season. At Purdue and then at USC. Notre Dame's going to the playoff. I don't know how they don't. Unless they come over here and check, but Notre Dame is going to the playoff. That's what that win signified to me. Marcus Freeman, year 3. If you had lost this game, people would have been looking at you like, dog, what is up with you? But they got the win. Okay. Lastly, USC beats LSU. USC stuns LSU. USC comes up with the win. Lincoln Riley in his first game. I was glued into this game in Vegas. What a win. What a win. I think both of their teams were evenly matched, but what it came down to was coaching. And I just think the being undisciplined, and I think that came back to bite LSU now. Garrett Nussmeier and Miller Moss were both fantastic. If I'm being honest, LSU was better in terms of ground game on the ground. USC wasn't as good on the ground. But when you look at this game, what is the number one thing people talk about outside of Brian Kelly? They're talking about the defense. And also that one-hand catch Kyron Hudson made. The USC's got some weapons. By the way, LSU does too. Kyron Lacey might be one of the next LSU greats. But that defense for USC, it's flying around. It's going up. It's showing that toughness that you lacked last year. And a great start to the season for USC in terms of, okay, if we want to compete for the CFP and show people we're a real contender, we really need to win this game. And in the fourth quarter, they bowed up, they showed out. Great win for USC. LSU, it looked like USC was on the ropes there of getting knocked out, but LSU couldn't do it. And Brian Kelly wants to blame his players after the game. No, it's you take responsibility. You did not. The discipline part's on the coach. Kyron Lacey, after he scores the touchdown, he's doing this. No, don't do that. The discipline part, man. That's coaching. And that's on you, Brian Kelly. USC being the more disciplined team is one of the major reasons they won. And Miller Mouse has looked phenomenal in that game. USC with the upset, 27-20. What a game. All right, so this has been the Don't Argue with the Facts podcast for Tuesday, September 3rd, 2024. I am your host. I've been your host, Noah Love. We will get into some NFL talk tomorrow. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and until tomorrow and next time, see you.